just purported that there ain't no purpose, and the theologian told me that it's all been designed, and now I'm trying to maintain objectivity. The world won't illuminate what really matters, and I'm in a perfect mortal meaning extractor, processing the complexity.
For those of you who don't keep up with the blogosphere and the drama that goes on there, I thought I'd update you on a little thing that's been going on at Pharyngula, which is a blog by P.Z. Myers, who's a professor of evolutionary biology at the University of Minnesota Morris. About 2 weeks ago, he wrote about a story of a young man named Webster Cook who tried to take a communion wafer with him to show a friend who was a non-Catholic. He was essentially assaulted to give the cracker back, and ended up leaving with it, put it in a plastic bag and took it with him because just the response that he had, he just ended up taking it with him, and he ended up receiving death threats by Catholics for doing so, because the Catholics believe that the cracker, when blessed by a priest, undergoes transubstantiation, which means it becomes literally the body of Christ. So they believe he took a little piece of Jesus with him, apparently. I used to be a Catholic, I should know these things. But anyway, PZ, in his response, thought how idiotic it was, how hypocritical it was that these Catholics are giving death threats, how stupid it was that they're responding this way about a piece of unleavened bread, a cracker. And they feel so intensely about this that they will send death threats against the young man who took it and put it in a plastic bag with the intent of showing it to someone else. That was it. He didn't kidnap it, he wasn't going to torture it, he wasn't going to, destroy it. He was going to show it to a friend and then probably eat it, which is what all Catholics do. They eat it, it goes into their stomach, and it comes out as poo. That's not exactly treating something with respect, but that's besides the point. P.Z. Myers, upset about this, obviously went on a little tirade, and he said, and I believe he was joking when he said this, but he said it, he said, if anyone can score me a piece of consecrated wafer, I will desecrate it good and proper. And there was an uproar. The Catholic League got involved. Of course they did. Saying that, PZ was a horrible person, that he should be fired, that the university he works for should suspend him at the very least, if not completely kick him out. Well, number one, he has tenure. Number two, his website has nothing to do with his job. His website is linked from his profile on the Morris website. But other than that, he's not affiliated at all with the university. So he has the complete right to say or do whatever he wants. Apparently, the huge uproar, he started receiving death threats. A woman at 1-800-Flowers actually was fired because her husband used her email address to send a death threat to P.Z. Myers, which I find somewhat amusing. Anyway, P.Z. ended up getting at least one piece of consecrated wafer. And he also received a bunch of Korans, which Catholics sent him saying, oh yeah, if you want to be so brave, go ahead and destroy one of these and show how brave you are. Because obviously, well, number one, it shows that these Catholics apparently think that Muslims are all going to kill him, which shows the wonderful feelings they have for Muslims. But it also says that they don't really have a problem with desecration, they just have a problem with desecration of their stuff, which again shows their own innate bigotry. But anyway, so PZ took those, and today, or rather it was yesterday, but today he posted about it. He went away with the wafer. He took it out. In addition, he also took out a Quran and also the God Delusion. He did it very simply. He took the wafer, he took a rusty nail, put it through the wafer, put it through a couple pieces torn from the Quran, put it through a couple pieces torn from the God Delusion, threw it in the trash, and he took a picture. And it's done. And the reason he did it, see, some people are saying, oh, look at PZ, he thinks the cracker has power, because if he didn't think it had power, he wouldn't do anything to it, but because he thinks it has power, obviously had to destroy it. Well, these are the same people who, had he done nothing, would say, oh, he's afraid, he thinks it has power, he thinks it's really Jesus, so of course he's not going to do anything to it. So, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, and PZ decided to put his money where his mouth is, and I support him. But he wrote a very nice, long, essay to go with the picture of what he had done to the wafer, and I just wanted to read the end part, which I thought was really just a great piece of writing. By the way, I didn't want to single out just the cracker, so I nailed it to a few ripped out pages from the Quran and the God Delusion. They are just paper. Nothing must be held sacred. Question everything. God is not great, Jesus is not your Lord, you are not disciples of any charismatic prophet. You are all human beings who must make your way through your life by thinking and learning. And you have the job of advancing humanity's knowledge by winnowing out the errors of past generations and finding deeper understanding of reality. You will not find wisdom in rituals and sacraments and dogma, which build only self-satisfied ignorance. But you can find truth by looking at your world with fresh eyes and a questioning mind. Great words from could be a jerk in some people's views, not terribly sensitive, but I think a very, very intelligent and a very, very wise man, P.Z. Myers.
Born of the earth.